Hello, my name is Nathan, and you're listening to Daddy and Dunce.
Welcome to Daddy and Dunce. We're a weekly podcast bringing you parenting tips and advice that should not be taken as actual advice. More discussion on topics currently doing the rounds. This is our very first episode. My name is Ashley and I'm the father of two boys, and with me is my brother-in-law Mark, who's not a parent but is an uncle to two nieces and two nephews. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks for having me, Ashley. And I should just point out for those that didn't listen to the trailer that I am the dunce or the idiot in this show. So yeah, not a dad.
Is that parenting dunce or like general life dunce?
A bit of both. Definitely parenting dunce though.
Unky Mark it is in our family. So welcome. Maybe you could become Dunky Mark.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I know in our trailer, we talked a little bit about you and your background. So I thought we'd cover my background a little bit in this first one. So I did mention we have, my wife and I, we have two boys. Nathan's 5 and he's just starting school, and he's the little voice that you hear at the start of the podcast leading us in. In 10 years' time, if the podcast is still around, he's probably going to hate that intro, but it's very cute for us now.
Yep.
He's just starting reception. We're very happy for him to go to school. Wife and I are both teachers, so we've loved spending school holidays home with him, but we're very ready for him to go and start school now. Just so he can, let's just call it learn. And we also have a 2-year-old, Hamish. He'll be 2 in a couple of months. He's an interesting one. Nathan is very laid back and chilled and whatever. Hamish is a little bit feistier. I don't know if it's because he's a ginger. I don't know if it's all the health stuff he's got going on, but he's the sort of kid that'll tell you exactly like it is. One of his first words was no, and he'll snatch stuff away from you. So I'm sure at some point we'll get into his health stuff a little bit more, but he was born very unexpectedly 6 weeks early. He's got a range of different health problems. The main one is he has 4 defects with his heart, so we've had a fair bit to do with heart kids in this time. I guess that leads into one of my hobbies, which is triathlon. So I did the Noosa Triathlon in November last year for the Heart Kids team, raised nearly $4,500 for them. So I guess one of our things with the podcast is to raise awareness for stuff like that. February coming up is Show Your Heart Month. So if anyone wants to follow me on Instagram, we can share that later, but I'll be doing the daily challenge for Heart Kids.
I think I'm going to give that a go. I haven't told you this, but I think I'll give it a go. Not big on Instagram, but I think I'm going to give it a go this year.
So last year it was stuff like, show something red, show why you care, all those just random things. And for me, I quite often just post photos of me sweaty after a training session, which doesn't get very many likes because, for a 36-year-old that's a little bit overweight doing triathlon, I don't think people really want to see like a sweaty photo on Instagram, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So it just gave me some purpose for that.
I suppose the equivalent for me might be I might post some pictures of me sitting on the couch drinking beer.
So that's something that I don't get to do very often, but that's okay. I'm really enjoying our first episode of recording because my wife's off getting the kids ready for bed, which is normally something I have to do. So this is a really good time of night to record, so let's keep that up.
No worries. I'm always free.
All right, well, first thing we're going to jump into is a little segment called Dad Tales. Woohoo! Yes, that is a hotly debated topic, whether we should turn that into a theme song. We're both from the era of DuckTales. So, woohoo. Dad Tales, woohoo! Look, basically, Mark, we get to disagree or agree on this one, but I'm going to call it a dunce of the week this week. Father at D Neil Colorado posted on Twitter earlier this week, me to my 10-year-old, sure, you can use your new art set if it gets you away from the iPad. My 10-year-old in my head, sweet, it must be okay for me painting a rainbow fighting moose on my bedroom wall, and it has a picture of the kid across the whole wall and the door with a moose with a rainbow fart coming out. I'm calling it a dunce. Your take?
So, yeah, well, if you're dunce, I think freedom of expression. I don't mind it. I mean, I haven't seen the picture. If they're good, absolutely. Not sure if it's watercolour and it's washable, but...
Okay, here's the picture.
Okay, I'm looking at the picture now. You could say it's a poo coming out of the butt, or you could say it's something else going into the butt, actually.
All right, I might have to go and change the rating on the podcast. Look how badly that wall's painted as well.
Yeah, that's bigger than what I was thinking. For the viewers at home, it's like...
it's a podcast.
It's like half a door.
They're listeners on a podcast, not viewers.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
For the listeners at home, I got half right because they can't see us.
They might not be at home as well. They might be hiding under their desk at work.
Okay, well, it's a massive moose and it's a massive poo. But not bad for... Actually, I have no idea.
But I'm looking at the picture as well, and you've got lavender at the top, a strip of pink that's maybe like 5 centimeters, and then like a lime green down the bottom, and that's the color of their actual wall. So I think the kid's probably done an improvement on that.
Yeah, the wall is weird, actually. And there's a little gas bubble as well. Yeah, it's...
I think Mark's going to post this on our socials, and we'll tell you how to find us on our social media later, but I reckon we can retweet or put this on our Facebook page, because you can jump in and let us know whether you actually agree with that or not. So,
but just to be clear, I do like it.
I'm going dunce on that one. All right, Mark, well, what have you got for us?
Well, so we're going to ask our viewers to call in. Oh, sorry, not call in. I apologise. Email in or contact on our social medias that we'll give at the end of the show to ask any questions that they want us to answer. But we don't have any viewers yet. So what I'm going to do is...
Or listeners.
All listeners. What I'm going to do is a little homage to one of my favourite podcasts. Keep It Moving or Stop. And I'll go through some Google autocomplete answers here. And help my toddler, and then the autocomplete. Now, if you want to keep it moving or stop, you let me know. So the first autocomplete is help my toddler lose weight.
Okay, let's stop on that one.
Yeah, I want to stop on that one too. I'm not a parent, but I've never seen a kid as a toddler, which I'm not sure what age that goes up to.
It's kind of when they're toddling around, maybe.
Okay. That's fat enough to actually need to lose weight, because normally it's cute if they're tubby.
There was that, was he 3-year-old baby in some Asian country that was smoking cigarettes once? That became a meme, and he went on a bit of a health bender, but that's kind of a bit of an out there case.
I'd still be more worried about the cigarettes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's probably an interesting point. Baby lose weight, no, never a good thing. I guess to take it to the extreme, we've got the opposite end, which is we can't actually get Hamish to put weight on because he burns energy that quickly with his heart stuff. So he gets to have chocolate cake whenever he wants it to try and help him put weight on. So
me too. I also get chocolate cake whenever I want it.
When you're a good boy, yeah. Well, and that's really hard having a 5-year-old in the house and a 2-year-old that gets to eat literally whenever and whatever he wants, and trying to tell the 5-year-old, no, have an apple.
Well, when they're at my house, they get whatever they want all the time.
We worked out that when they go to my parents, Nathan's told us he only has to ask twice for lollies and then he gets it.
That's a good system. All right, let's see the next one. These are all fairly classic, I'd imagine, not being a parent, but help my toddler sleep.
Yep, keep moving.
Help my toddler talk.
Well, you can't. And, well, okay, help my toddler talk. You sit for hours. Say daddy, say daddy, say daddy. You say shit once, and that's the first word they say.
But none of your kids' first word.
No, of course.
No.
So I've heard.
Absolutely. You wouldn't share it anyway. Help my toddler poop. We can just move along from that one. Help my toddler won't eat.
Help my toddler won't eat what's on their plate, but will eat what's on their brother's, and now there's a fight. Yep. Okay.
These all sound amazing. Help my toddler stop coughing.
Take him to a doctor.
Help my toddler walk.
That's great until they start walking, and then you want them to go back to the phase where they're not moving again because they get into everything.
As long as they don't climb, seems to be the thing I get a lot from my friends.
Our boys have both climbed before they walk.
Help my toddler speak.
Yeah.
It's pretty similar to help my toddler talk.
And it's kind of like, how do I help my toddler be able to answer back quicker?
Okay. You've taken a lot of negative views on these. Help my toddler gain weight.
Yeah, we kind of covered that earlier.
Yeah, that's a better pursuit to go than lose weight, though, I think. And help my toddler eat, that's it. And they're exactly the same along the baby things.
Yeah.
Crawl, walk,
help
eat.
My baby won't take a bottle.
Basically, all things that baby naturally do.
See, that's going to be interesting when we get into stuff like breastfeeding. It's your sister we're talking about.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure we'd be discussing anything about breastfeeding.
Yeah, I know, but never know. All right, well, the next thing we're going to do is a segment called Double Take, and that's where we look at a topic, maybe controversial, maybe not. I think from like anything that gets posted on Facebook these days, it could be the topic of drinking water, and someone will make it controversial. Oh, there you go. Should you have fluoridated water? There you go. We made drinking water controversial. So anything we say is probably going to be controversial, which is fine, but whatever. If you don't like us, that's when you can get in contact and tell us. But the topic for this week, and I'll see if you even know what this means, is should you let your baby cry it out? What do you think, Mark? Should you let your baby cry it out?
I'm going to need more context on this one.
What do you think that would mean?
Well, I think basically what you're talking about is, do you let your baby just cry maybe when they're in bed? I'm thinking more than like just anywhere, but I'm not sure. Or if you're not in the same room as them.
Do you would you let a baby cry it out on an aeroplane?
Well, this is what I do both on aeroplanes and when I'm babysitting Nathan when he was younger and he started crying. I would just bust out my noise cancelling headphones, put some music on or a podcast, turn it right up, and I wouldn't even care, just cry away. And in fact, that's exactly what I do on airports these days. I actually put the noise cancelling earphones on as soon as I get out of my car at the airport. I mean, I'm rude to everybody, and oftentimes people have to like tap me and be like, "Excuse me, sir." But I tell you what, I don't know if somebody's coughing behind me. I don't know if a baby's crying. I just get through it. So I'd imagine that's what most parents are doing these days.
I could just imagine, like, "Excuse me, sir, you forgot to put your belt on after security, and the last 100 metres you've been walking with your pants around your ankles."
Absolutely, but I can't hear any babies crying, so I'm happy.
It's a win-win. Yeah, well, you kind of hit the nail on the head, and judging by that, I love you too, Nathan. Judging by that, I'm guessing that you're in the yes, we should let them cry it out camp. So basically, cry it out refers to, more often than not, when you put your kids to bed and they start crying, do you run in straight away and pick them up if they start crying? Do you let them just cry for a while and see if they stop?
Can I interject here? Is it not knowing this? Could it be a thing where it's just like, tonight I don't want to hear him cry, so I'm going to go in there or does that stuff up the whole system if every now and then you stop them crying, but mostly you let them cry, depending on your mood
It's kind of like...
Does that stuff up the system?
You do the right thing 10 times.
Yep.
And you give them the lolly once when they ask for it.
Yep.
And like the other 10 times when you've said no don't count, because all they remember is that time you've given them a lolly.
So then for the next 10 nights they're going to cry because they remember that one time you came in.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've found it.
Okay.
What do you think? Should you cry them out?
Yeah, I'd cry them out then, if that's the case.
Not a bad take on it.
Is that your take as well?
Yeah, well, I think that's basically what we do. Okay. I have a propensity to sleep through crying, so quite often, like, Anita will sleep in the spare bedroom if the baby's been crying a fair bit, because I can sleep through it and she can't.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's a maternal instinct that mums tend to wake up quicker. I've heard that before.
Now, if I was to call my mate Ben tomorrow and ask him about this and said, what would you cry out?
Yeah.
He'd know what I was talking about.
Yeah, there's a fair chance they've had that debate.
And so he'd be on one side of this?
More often than not, yeah. And it does get pretty... it's bad. You shouldn't let your babies cry, It's bad for their mental state. Later on in life, they'll regret it. And I don't know. I think if the baby cries, what we found is put the boys down for 5 minutes. If they're still crying, go and check on them. Leave it for 10 minutes. Yeah. More often than not, our boys just go straight down and sleep now.
Okay.
But we haven't done it the other way, so we don't have any evidence about whether the other way works as well or not.
Can you roll this out? So say if Hamish is walking, well, not quite walking, and then he slams himself on the floor, blood everywhere, don't go to him because you're using the...
Cried out technique.
Cried out technique.
We maybe if there's blood, no.
Okay.
Probably not. I think we had like 6 ambulance trips with him last year, so we probably err on the side of caution.
That's fair enough.
We're the kind of people that go to the doctors and end up getting sent to emergency with him, not because we're like neglectful and we take him at the last minute, but just with everything he's got, they're like, we might let someone else handle this case.
Yeah, when he looks at me funny, I'm like, I'm going to hand him over to someone else at the moment, I think.
If the boys fall over and hurt themselves, we don't tend to run in and hug them and go, there. We tend to go, oh, look, you fell over. Come on, up you get. And I guess that is a bit of cried out, but it's also like teaching them resilience. And I guess from my teaching background, resilience is something we have to work super hard on at schools at the moment because a lot of kids come to school not having that resilience.
Absolutely. I don't like babies crying, so I will cuddle the babies.
Yeah, but you get to cuddle them and then leave, and then
absolutely.
Oh, baby starts crying. Oh, hey, my show's on TV. I've got to get going.
Absolutely.
So, got to get going home. Well, basically, the actual expert advice, and this today comes from WebMD. So, like, ask Dr. Google. Coping with baby's cries. First, troubleshoot. Is baby hungry, wet, hot, in pain from a too tight diaper, pinching snap, or a fine hair wrapped tightly around a finger or toe? Oh, that's a bad one.
Does wet mean sweaty? Or
I think it means they've done a wee.
Okay.
But it can also be sweaty, maybe if you... I don't know. The finger, the hair wrapped around... I've seen like horror stories of like babies that have gone to sleep and like... not my hair because I'm almost bald, but like a long hair's been wrapped around their finger and like it's cut off the circulation. I've lost their finger overnight.
That's horrific.
I know, and it's just like it's a hair, and you don't even think about stuff.
Another
like
reason
that,
not to have children if you haven't already.
That's right. It's not too late. If baby's full, clean, comfortable, and without a fever, try soothing them by swaddling, walking, and rocking, and turning on a calming sound like the vacuum cleaner. What?
It's white noise.
Like the vacuum or a white noise machine. So
I prefer rain sound personally, but it's each to their own.
That is interesting. Vacuuming to put kids to sleep. Anyway, although crying it out as a sleep training tactic is not recommended for... Well, yeah, if it's a newborn, I think the older the kids get, the more you do tend to cry it out. And as well, like, you know, some people like co-sleeping and having the kid in their bed with them. And crying it out, if you're laying right next to them, it's kind of harder to block it out. Now, the other bit of advice, this is something we got from doctors, was it's actually okay to put baby down for a few minutes to give yourself a break. Put him down, let him cry for a few minutes, and then go back to him. Because as a parent, if it's crying for hours on end, you're going to do your head in. So, yeah.
Is WebMD like one of the leading experts in this? Or
I mean,
has he published many papers?
It was kind of like the first hit that came up on Google when I put in, should I let my baby cry it out? But that's okay. Your baby's almost 3 months old. Every day he gains more control over his rapidly growing body. Congratulations. Oh, that might be an ad.
Or it could be, should I let my 3-month-old baby cry article?
It could be. All right, well, that's basically our first show done, Mark. So how can people get in touch with us? Or what do we want from the people listening to this first episode?
Absolutely. So if you're listening and you enjoyed it, so definitely subscribe and tell any friends that listen to podcasts where to find us. And if you want, give us a rating on iTunes. That'd be great. But,
5 stars.
5 stars, 5 stars.
And if you hate it, give us 1 star, but don't go that middle 2, 3, 4 stars. That's just rubbish.
Okay. You had it there first. So here we go. So email us any questions or, corrections at dad.dunce@gmail.com. Our Insta is dad.dunce. Facebook, Daddy and the Dunce. And Twitter @Dad and the Dunce. But if you search Daddy and the Dunce on any of those platforms, you'll be able to find us.
And do me a favour, Mark. Next time, like at Christmas lunch, please don't call me Daddy.
Yeah. That's awkward.
All right, well, you've heard it there, how to get in touch with us. Look, the best way for this show to work is for you guys to seriously to get in touch with us and to share it with your friends. If you've enjoyed this episode, then let us know what you liked about it. If you hated it, then let us know, and we'll just tell you that that's an alternative parenting view and each to their own. We're going to finish the week with a dad joke, and these are going to be really good because Mark hasn't heard these beforehand. So, Mark, if you see a robbery in an Apple store, does that make you an eyewitness?